Good morning, everyone. I'm Andrette Packard from University of Pretoria, and I'm representing the statistical focus area of the CoE. And I'm sitting down with Sibu from University of Stellenbosch, and we are going to touch some interesting points that I hope that everyone would enjoy. And Sibu, how are you?
Yeah, fine, thank you. And thank you so much for introducing me too. I look forward to the discussions. My area is differential equations, and of course, we look specifically at the asymmetry analysis, finding solutions, transformations which help to transform the equations into something that's more amenable for analysis and for integration. So and my interest actually is one aspect is that, but the other aspect I'm interested in is also trying to ensure that we build capacity and bring in new pipeline students, through PhD programs, postdoctoral programs, not just for the mathematical sciences, but broadly also through, this initiative through the National Institute for Theoretical and Computational Sciences, which we are now hosting at the university. I currently hold the position of DVC Research Innovation and Postgraduate Studies. So for us, capacity building is important, not just for Stellenbosch, but also for the sector. So I'm really glad to meet you. So are you able to say, again, how your field relates to, the CoE work and what we are here for?
For me, I was more or less from the beginning, from the CoE involved, when it commenced. And at that point in time, it was more mathematically orientated, but we came in from a statistical view, because sorry to say, but statistics, you can make an impact, So so I was the representative, the face from the statistical side, but it is a sort of how can I say, it's a lot of responsibility, because statistics is so versatile. You can come from the most fundamental to the most applied. And applied can be sometimes a little bit, sorry to say, but it can be just ordinary techniques that they applied. So I think and I hope that we will have in the future more statistical focus areas that can represent more what is statistics about, because people sometimes see statistics just as applied science, and that is not true. We have a big footprint in the digital, in the advanced data analytics.
Data science.
I don't want to say we are data scientists. I don't want to get into that, how can I say, fight, but we are essential for the data science environment. And I think I would like that we make sure that we have that footprint, because people sometimes, even mathematicians, see us as just a technician, but we are not like that. We are doing very advanced models, and that's important for us. But coming back to your discussion about the capacity building, that is very important for me. Long back, I was involved in also the capacity building from the statistics community, because the statistics, I don't know if you're aware of that, but we have really a crisis in the academia.
I think it's the same. I think when you talk about presentation also of, women in certain areas of maths, it's probably the same. If I look at the, especially in my area of research, we still need to have more, not just the gender gap in terms of having more women, but also younger people coming through, having this capacity built within the different universities. I do notice that in our system, out of the 26 public institutions, not all of them have the maths departments or offer subjects within maths. For example, if I look at the universities of technology, because I came from, I worked for over 20 years in the University of Technology environment, and we tried very hard to try and establish these programs, not just service in engineering and others, but having the discipline-specific programs running. I think there's a gap there. I know we talk about representation, but if these universities, for example, are not capacitated to have their own departments that bring, I believe, statistics, mathematics, and the physics people together under some kind of umbrella, like interdisciplinary schools, it will become it becomes difficult to attract people from different backgrounds, especially Black South Africans, to in numbers to join those, to become the next sort of generation of mathematicians. So we still have a lot of work to do there. So I agree with you, I think, in terms of when you talk about the gap in statistics. I didn't know it was still a gap because I thought that we had enough interventions. So what's happening?
No, let me tell you why it's such a gap. It's because of this data science, So many students, even at a third year level, they are getting a job in the industry. So to get that, people going to honors and masters is very challenging. So I think that is where the CoE and other institutions, other platforms like you've mentioned, must come in and help us. And they already did it in the past. I must say the CoE is a vehicle that really helps us to build capacity. And I think that we need that vehicles. We need also drivers for that vehicles, that have that, who has that, passion. Sure. Because some people think you only need postdocs to do the job. No, you must get them at second year level. And you must groom them, sorry to say it so bluntly, to get them into this environment because you need that future leader.
But isn't it also an opportunity? I think if you think about it, we are so sort of fixed on how we were taught, the experiences we've had in universities around curriculum, but doesn't that also provide us an opportunity to probably think about how we recurriculate without losing the fundamentals, in terms of how we brand our programs? I know people say that as mathematicians and maybe people in the basic sciences, we are really fixed on, this is how you do it. But I don't know if we are catching up with the current generation.
We are not. We're definitely not. Yeah. And I think specific in South Africa, that's why we need also to bring in other people from international to let us sense where we should change our curriculum, because otherwise you get tunnel vision. Sure. You need to change the curriculum, and even, as you say, multi, as well as other skills, because there's also a gap from someone that graduated going to industry. There are other skills. You mustn't think if you are graduated and now I'm professional and I can do the job. No, life is not like that. Sure. So I think as a university, as institutions, we also need that upskilling of other skill sets.
Sure.
Yeah, I think so. And that must be also part of curriculum. And coming back again about the impact of research, the other day I mentioned to someone, we also need that part of the curriculum to make people aware, listen guys, you must do science that can make an impact.
Sure.
So I think there's a lot to do for you still.
No, there is a lot. But I also think that we have to think about, there's a lot of work which goes on in the schools. But I think through the Center of Excellence, just thinking about how we attract people as a pipeline from the school, lock them into a program, and which has got a particular pathway, which allows them to, if they get good marks at secondary school, then they enter particular programs which we map out so that they get the particular support during their undergraduate degree, so that then they can go into a master's degree. I'm currently involved in another program which is a future professors program, but that takes people already with PhD. Yeah. So I'm thinking about, the pipeline where we identify candidates earlier, knowing that yes, later on there are these programs, but how do we lock them in through the CoE-MaSS in terms of the critical skills that are needed, and give them the necessary support and exposure I think this exposure can also include, like we do, I know we do that, but I mean, it is something to think about the future in terms of how one scales these, the summer programs, winter programs, where they also get some international exposure,
we need to
and then build into university programs, and then those programs knowing that when they complete, then they have these other alternatives for early career development. So I think there is a lot of work to be done. But I mean, so far, of course, I would say congratulations to the Center CoE-MaSS for the work that they've done and for the support. I know we are a node, and there's a number of initiatives we've managed to do through the CoE-MaSS and the support they've given. I know that I was supported, for example, through a postdoc fellow, and did very well through that. And I believe that if we can support more students at master's and doctoral level as well, and for the future, at least that will help us, but also mapping out exactly the critical areas where we need the shortage. So it's been nice meeting you. And thank you so much.
It's also nice meeting to you. And I agree 100% with everything. And I can see the CoE is now on the exponential curve.